Hello student, welcome to digital classes. This video is for class 7. Subject is science. In this video I am going to start a new chapter, that is number 9, and chapter name is soil. In this video I am going to tell you about the formation of soil, role of water in the soil formation, role of plant root in soil formation, role of temperature, variation in soil formation, and the last, role of chemical weathering in soil formation. Then soil teeming with life, weathering, etc. Let's start the chapter soil. We know that soil is very important natural resources as it is a habitat of so many living organisms. We get food from the soil as topsoil is very fertile, and we can grow crops. When the crops mature we get grain, and grain is a very important source for our survival. Now the formation of soil. Millions of years ago the surface of the earth was very hard and rocky. Volcanic eruptions brought molten rocks from inside the earth to the surface. The hot lava flowed and cooled to form igneous rocks. As the time passes, these rocks were broken into smaller pieces by the violent earthquakes. Over thousands of years, these smaller pieces of rocks change into soil under the combined effect of water, wind, root of plant, and mechanical collision, etc. The role of water, air, plant roots, and mechanical collision is very much important for the formation of soil. Soil is the one of the most important natural resources. It is the uppermost layer of the earth crust with a blackish brown in color. Major function of the soil are it supports plant growth by holding the roots firmly and supply water and nutrients to the plant. It acts as a natural habitat for many organisms like an earthworm, fungi, bacteria, ants, etc. These microorganisms are able to survive in soil, and in return they provide humus to the soil, which make the soil fertile to grow crops and plants good. It is also essential for agriculture, which provide us with food, clothing, shelter for all. It supplies water and nutrients to the plant. Therefore, we say that soil is an inseparable part of our life. Now, what is soil? The uppermost layer of the earth is known as soil. This layer consists of sand, mud, and rock particles. What is humus? It consists of dead and decaying plants and animal remains that are decomposed by the microorganism, and after some time it convert into blackish substance that is called humus. Now the formation of soil is possible or the process called weathering. What is weathering? The breakdown of rocks is known as weathering. Wind, water, frost help in transporting of soil to place, mean one place to another. There are two type of weathering. One is the physical weathering and second is the chemical weathering. Now the proper definition of weathering. The process of breakdown of bigger rocks into smaller rocks or smaller piece of rocks by the action of natural forces such as water, air, plant roots, mechanical collision, etc. is called weathering. Weathering of rocks is a very slow process. It takes hundreds of years to produce a few centimeters of soil. Now the agents of weathering are wind, glacier, running water, sea waves, underground water, etc. There are basically three types of weathering. One is the physical weathering, second is the chemical weathering, and third is the biological weathering. Now the physical weathering. Physical weathering is the process of breaking of rocks into smaller pieces. These changes do not involve any characteristic change in the original rocks. These are caused by the temperature change, and second is the frost. Frost means ice. Physical weathering, also known as mechanical weathering, it is caused by the change in temperature due to the expansion and contraction of the rocks breaks up. Means while the temperature is high, the solid expands, means the rocks expand, and when the temperature lowered, the rocks contract again. This is a physical process, so this contraction and expansion continue in the nature. This makes the rocks to break. Physical weathering happens due to the process of change of temperature, freezing action of water, root growing plant which disintegrate rocks. Change in temperature means contraction and expansion is possible, and freezing action of water means when the water get freeze in between the cracks and crevices, it expands. When the temperature rise, it become water again, then it contract. This expansion and contraction and freezing of ice from water. This process of alternate expansion and contraction cause the breakdown of rocks. The smaller pieces of rocks finally change to the soil. Role of water in soil formation. Water play an important role in the breaking of rocks into smaller pieces. During rain, water enters the cracks and crevices of the rocks. During winter, when the temperature falls, water freezes to ice and expand. This expansion exerts an outward force and the rocks breaks into smaller pieces. These smaller rocks pieces roll down into the flowing water or wind. While rolling down, they strike against each other and form very fine particles due to the friction between them. Fine particles are carried by rain and river water and on the way get mixed up with the organic matter to form soil. Water on freezing expand, that is ice, occupies more volume than the water. This occurs because ice has open structure. Chemical weathering. Chemical weathering is the process which exists of minerals are broken down into mineral components. Water is main agent used in this process. Now decomposition and disintegration of rocks due to the chemical reaction. Water causes a change in the chemical composition of rock. Types of chemical weathering: solution, oxidation, carbonation, hydration. Solution, it is refers to the dissolution of soluble particles and minerals from the rocks. Oxidation, it is a reaction of atmospheric oxygen to form oxides. Carbonation, it is a reaction of carbonate or a bicarbonate ions with the mineral. Hydration, the process by hydration is released to the addition of water to the minerals. Now see the chemical weathering. Water is considered to be the universal solvent. It dissolves many things including rocks, Over time, water can break down even hard rocks like granite. Oxidation is normally done with the minerals like iron. It is a chemical reaction in which an iron combines with oxygen to form ferric oxide. Role of chemical weathering in soil formation. Rocks contain many minerals. In the presence of moisture and oxygen in the air, these minerals get oxidized. This makes the rocks brittle, which then crumble to form the soil. Chemical weathering. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide mixed with water creates carbonic acid that slowly dissolve limestone. Carbonic acid is a weak mineral acid, and when it reacts with carbonate or calcium, it may decompose it. Now the fourth chemical weathering process, living organism. Acids from decaying plant or fungi such as lichens break down the rocks. When these organisms decompose the dead and decaying matter, it secretes substance that is acid and which helps to break the rocks, and the smaller rocks finally change to the soil. Now the biological weathering. The action of plant and animals led to breaking of rocks. Root causes disintegration of the rocks. The root of the tree penetrate into the cracks of the soil. Type of biological weathering involve burying animal, quarrying, and by the human excreta. Now the soil teeming with life. Soil contain air, water and countless living organisms like fungi, bacteria, insect like ant and beetles, earthworm, rodents, mole and plant roots. Some organisms are too small that cannot be seen by naked eye, example fungi and bacteria. An important soil organism is an earthworm. It is visible only in the rainy season. It increases the fertility of the soil. Now the soil profile. Soil is formed by breaking down of rocks by the action of wind, water or climate by the process called weathering. During this process, the rocks are worn away to form small pieces by long exposure of element of weathers. Weathering is a very slow process as it takes thousands of years for a huge rocks to turn into fine particles. The nature of the soil depends upon the rocks from which it has been formed and the type of vegetation that grow on it. The soil profile is a vertical section through different layers of soil. Soil profile consists of different layers of soil which are called horizon. Each horizon differ in texture, color, depth and chemical composition. Different horizon of soil are discussed further. We read about the soil. Soil is the uppermost layer of the earth crust. It composed of distant layer. Did a ditch or a trench or visit a place where digging is being done. Look at the side of the trench or ditches. What do you see? You will see the layered structure of soil. Such layered structure of the soil is called soil profile. Vertical section through the soil showing the various layer of the soil is called the soil profile. Each layer is feel, texture, color, depth and chemical composition. Soil is generally arranged in 3 layers. Each layer is called horizon. Horizon A, horizon B, horizon C. Now I am going to discuss about the 3 horizon. A, B, C. Next, horizon A or a topsoil. It is the uppermost layer of the soil and usually dark in color because of the presence of minerals and humus in it. It provides the nutrients in plants since the root of the most plants are confined to this layer. Humus is the dark brown colored layer which consists of dead, rotting remains of plants and animals. As it is rich in humus which make the soil fertile, plants get the essential nutrients from this layer. The soil in this layer is soft, porous and can hold more water. The layer is also known as topsoil. The topsoil provides home for many living organisms such as worms, rodents, beetles and mole, etc. See, these are the three layers: horizon A topsoil, horizon B subsoil, horizon C or substratum. Below the sea horizon, there is a bedrock or a parent rock. Humus help in making the topsoil porous. This layer is generally soft and retain more water in it. This layer provides shelter for many living organisms like earthworm, rodents, moles, beetles, etc. Now the horizon B or a subsoil. This layer of soil lies just below the topsoil. It is made up of slightly bigger rock particle that of the topsoil. It does not have much humus and is lighter in color than topsoil. It is somewhat harder and more compact than the topsoil. This layer is less fertile than topsoil and contains few living organisms. The subsoil is rich in mineral and iron oxide. Now the horizon C or substratum. The layer of the soil which lies just below the subsoil is called sea horizon. It consists of small pieces of broken rocks with cracks and crevices formed by the weathering of bedrocks or a parent rocks. Now under the sea horizon there is a bedrock. In the sea horizon, basically the sea horizon is made up of small pieces of hard stone and rocks, so it is difficult to dig beyond this layer, and under the sea horizon there is a bedrock. Now bedrocks or permanent rocks. Below the sea horizon, unweathered solid rocks is found, which is called bedrocks. It is non-porous and can produce the soil over a long period of time. Rainwater get collected over it to form the water table. This layer is hard enough and it's difficult to dig with a spade. Now at last let us perform an activity that is given in your book at the page number 129. To identify and list the various things present in a few different soils. Material required: magnifying glass, soil samples from the different sources. Procedure: follow the step given below. Collect some soil sample from different places. Place a spoon full of each soil one by one on a white sheet of paper and then spread them with your finger. Observe these samples carefully with a magnifying glass and make a list of things you find in each soil sample. There is a table below this activity and you have to fill this table by your own in book only. Now the comment: these things found in the soil differ from its source to source. I hope whatever I taught in this video everyone would understand. If there is a problem or you find difficulty in any topic, you can ask within a class to clear yourself, And I want you have to collect doubts and ask within a class.